Scientists have just recently discovered a whole new continent underwater. A hidden ocean under Earth's crust was also recently found, as well as a whole new ecosystem. The ocean is hiding something huge, and we might just have found it. This is absolutely insane. Scientists have actually found a whole new continent hiding under the waters of the northern Atlantic Ocean. This new landmass, called the Davis Strait proto-microcontinent, is found between Canada's Baffin Island and Greenland, in an area known as the Davis Strait. The discovery was made after researchers reconstructed movements of tectonic plates that happened 33 to 61 million years ago, which led to the formation of this previously unknown land beneath the ocean. The formation of this microcontinent started when the tectonic plates between Greenland and Baffin Island shifted, changing the Earth's crust. This process created a thick slab of continental crust under the water, which is now about 12 to 15 miles long. The team of scientists from the UK and Sweden who published their findings in the journal Gondwana Research think the discovery can help us understand how other microcontinents might form in other parts of the world. Writing, "Our identified mechanism of microcontinent formation may be widely applicable to other microcontinents around the globe." Scientists recently found water hidden deep beneath the surface of the Earth, and they've never seen anything like it. About 400 miles underground in a layer of rock called ringwoodite, there's this huge supply of water. But it's very strange because it isn't in a liquid, solid, or gas form we're used to seeing. It's in this strange fourth state that scientists are still studying. The discovery was first talked about in a 2014 scientific paper titled "Dehydration Melting at the Top of the Lower Mantle." Geophysicist Stephen Jacobson worked on the study, which showed how ringwoodite, a kind of crystal-looking mineral forms in the Earth's mantle, can trap water. It pulls in hydrogen, allowing it to hold on to water even under crazy pressure and heat deep in the Earth. Jacobson thinks this discovery could actually explain where all the water on the surface came from. What's also really wild is that even if the ringwoodite contains just 1% water, it would mean there's 3 times more water hidden deep below Earth's surface than we have in all of the oceans. That's a huge amount of water buried away down in the mantle, and it could totally change how we think about Earth's water cycle. Scientists also recently found an entirely new ecosystem deep in the Pacific Ocean. Using an underwater robot, researchers from the Schmidt Institute turned over volcanic crust and found something amazing. Underneath hydrothermal vents, they found a whole community of worms, snails, and what's called chemosynthetic bacteria, which are organisms that live off the chemicals in volcanic fluids rather than sunlight. Pretty cool. As Joytika Vermani, the executive director of the Schmidt Ocean Institute, put it, "This truly remarkable discovery of a new ecosystem hidden beneath another ecosystem provides fresh evidence that life exists in incredible places." The area is found at 2,500 meters below sea level, in one of the darkest and most extreme parts of the ocean, where scientists weren't expecting to find much life at all. The life found here relies on the minerals and the hot fluids emitted by the hydrothermal vents, and some of these creatures, like tube worms, have adapted to move through these volcanic fluids to find new spots to live. Wendy Schmidt, president of the Schmidt Ocean Institute, said the discovery of, quote, "new creatures, landscapes, and now an entirely new ecosystem underscores just how much we have yet to discover about our ocean and how important it is to protect what we don't yet know or understand." Off the coast of Costa Rica, scientists made an incredible discovery at deep-sea methane seeps, which are places where methane bubbles up from the seafloor and feeds all kinds of life. An international team of researchers has documented almost 500 species living there, and at least 58 of them have never been seen before. This makes it the highest known count of species found in a single methane seep region. Over 10 years, from 2009 to 2019, marine biologists made 63 dives and gathered specimens, photos, and DNA from the deep ocean. They found exactly 488 species, but the team thinks there could be a lot more down there. The creatures found in these methane seeps are mostly invertebrates like snails, crabs, and limpets, which are a type of aquatic snail. Some of the species actually don't rely on the methane at all, again showing just how adaptable life is in some of the most extreme environments on Earth. The scientists involved in this study were led by UC San Diego's Scripps Institution of Oceanography, working with the University of Costa Rica. Just in 2024, another study found similar discoveries in Chile, with researchers uncovering dozens of new species in methane seeps there too. Basically, just goes to show how much we still don't know about the deep sea. And speaking of new species, off the coast of Cabo Verde in Africa, a diver and scientist named Carl Whitman was exploring a coastal cave when he discovered something. He wasn't quite sure what it was, but it was some sort of sea creature that had large eyes and needle-like spines on its tail. After studying the creature, Whitman realized he'd found a new species. Whitman had spent over 10 years diving around the islands of northwestern Africa, searching for unusual shrimp. During his dives, he found dozens of shrimp with these large eyes, and after closer inspection, he identified them as a new species, Mysodopsis canariensis, or the Canary Islands mice and shrimp. These tiny shrimp measure less than 1/4 of an inch long. They have stout bodies and their tails are bent with thin needle-like spines on the end. Whitman also found that these shrimp come in at least 6 different color variations, from orangish to yellow all the way to a more whitish color. Scientists recently made a crazy discovery in the deep Pacific Ocean that could completely change how we understand oxygen. Yeah, oxygen, something I think we all thought we pretty much had down, right? Well, they found that oxygen is being produced 4,000 meters below the surface in total darkness. Until this point, we've always thought oxygen only comes from plants and algae through photosynthesis, using sunlight. But these newer findings prove that oxygen can be created without light, deep down in the ocean. The discovery was made by a team led by Professor Andrew Sweetman, the Scottish Association for Marine Science. They were studying the effects of deep-sea mining when they came across these metallic nodules on the ocean floor that were actually producing oxygen. Sweetman explained, for aerobic life to begin on the planet, there had to be oxygen, but we now know that there is oxygen produced in the deep sea, where there is no light. End quote. These nodules, which look like little potatoes, have a very high electric charge, which could be responsible for breaking up seawater into hydrogen and oxygen. The team thinks these nodules act like, quote, batteries in a rock. This was an amazing discovery. It makes us totally rethink how we've always thought oxygen was made, and even how life might have started on Earth. Several miles beneath the surface of the Pacific Ocean, scientists aboard a submersible were scanning the seafloor when they spotted something unusual, a long purple sea creature. Turned out they were looking at a new species. In October of 2022, a Chinese-New Zealand research team set out on a 6-month survey of the Kermadec Trench in the South Pacific Ocean. During one of the dives, they came across this unfamiliar sea cucumber about 3.5 miles deep. They collected it and brought it back to the surface. When they examined it more closely, they realized they still had no idea what the thing was. The new sea cucumber measured about 1 foot long and 3 inches wide when alive, but it shrank once preserved. But as you can see, it's a very strange looking animal. In 2018, while studying the East Australian current, scientists came across something amazing: a hidden world beneath the surface of the ocean. As part of their research, they mapped the seafloor and discovered this series of underwater volcanoes near the east coast of Australia. Some had sharp peaks, others were massive plateaus, and there were similar cone-shaped mountains as well. These extinct volcanoes rise as high as 3 kilometers or 1.9 miles above the ocean floor, yet their highest points still sit about 2 kilometers or 1.2 miles below the surface. Because of the deep valleys surrounding them, they'd stayed hidden for millions of years, but this volcanic area probably played a big part in shaping Earth's continents, especially when Australia and Antarctica started drifting apart around 30 million years ago. Alright, just for some fun, let's dive into some conspiratorial territory now. For decades, there's been a mystery about something deep under the ocean, close to the Bermuda Triangle, something that almost resembles a pyramid. In the 60s, a man named Dr. Ray Brown, diving off the coast of the Bahamas, claimed to have found this glittering pyramid-type structure made of what looked like crystal. Then in 2016, there was a report about an oceanographer named Dr. Meyer Verlag, who'd apparently discovered 2 massive crystal pyramids using sonar. These pyramids were said to be 3 times the size of the Great Pyramid of Giza. But there's no proof that Dr. Meyer Verlag actually exists, so this was probably just an internet hoax. Could there really be something down there though? Well, I doubt these 2 actually found anything, but the ocean is vast enough for there to be something like this further out and deeper down, remnants of some lost ancient sunken city. Here's something that sounds crazy but is actually 100% known to exist. There's a natural phenomenon that happens beneath the ocean, and it's been happening for millions of years. Giant underwater waterfalls. They form when cold, dense water from the Arctic Ocean or other areas of the sea flows down into deeper regions of the ocean. The water sinks and creates powerful currents that cascade down the ocean floor, traveling for miles. The largest of these underwater waterfalls is in the Denmark Strait between Greenland and Iceland. It's over 10,000 feet high, about 4 times taller than the world's tallest waterfall, Angel Falls. These massive currents, called downwelling, actually help regulate ocean temperatures. They also affect how nutrients and oxygen are distributed in the deep ocean. With all that said, I've been your host James, and I'll catch you, yes you specifically, in the next video.